Welcome to the February 4th, 2025 board meeting. I did that, call the order, okay. Invocation, would anybody like to say the invocation?
I'll pray.
Go right ahead.
Dear merciful, great Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for another day that we can come together and discuss the business of the town. We ask that you open our minds and our hearts to do what's best for the city. We ask that you continue to bless our citizens, our workers. We ask that you continue to bless our county, state, and country, dear Lord. We ask this in your Son's most precious name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the December minutes?
Mr. Mayor, at this time, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December.
Have a motion, have a second? Second. All those in favor? Adoption of changes to this agenda. Does anybody have any changes to this agenda?
I do, Mayor. I need to have a short closed session for personnel.
Can we do it at the end?
Yes.
Anyone else? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, at this time, I'll make a motion we accept the agenda with the change of the closed personnel at the end of the meeting.
I have a motion, do I have a second? All those in favor? Adoption of agenda, I just did that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a couple things I want to talk to you about, Sandy. Gary, go ahead and talk about, we're gonna take down the Christmas lights, and I'm gonna ask anybody on the board who wants to help sometime soon. We'd like to do repairs to the Christmas lights before we forget, and we run right up on top of Christmas next year. Well, you retired, young lady. What you got to do? Oh, you guys do, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. What a way to slam your
Yeah.
willing participant here.
One
Gosh,
help, yeah.
I know.
All we do is change the bulbs out and squirt a little grease in them. I'll
Well,
let you know, Ms. Gill.
sometimes they have to be cleaned out a little bit, but any of them that haven't got grease in them already, any lights that face up, let water into the socket and then it corrodes. So once you screw the bulb out, you have to spray the electric clean in there and get the corrode out, then put some grease and put a new bulb in. Very time consuming.
What's this job pay?
Zilch. That's why we're asking for volunteers.
Oh, that's volunteers you were out there.
Yes, Mr. Larry.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All of our local retirees can volunteer.
My volunteers get paid, so I'll add you to my payroll. Feel free to come up there.
We're all volunteers,
Yeah.
except Derek.
But then you watch them plug things in that should be plugged in while they have their finger stuck in the socket, and you're like, you know what, after you spray it, anyhow, we'll talk about that later. This is always a treat.
A date?
Yeah, what I'd like to do is get a date together and say, this is what, and it doesn't have, we'll do it maybe next month, but because what happened this year is we ran late on it, and then Gary tried to get it done, Will had done some work, and I had to send some of my guys up there. There's a lot of really good lights that still work, we just need to switch the bulbs out. So before it gets to be November, when they need to be going up, I'd like to pick a month, pick a day, get a couple people up there. It really is, it's just tedious, switching out bulbs, squirt some stuff in it, plug them in and see if it works. And I'll work with Gary. I probably will send my guys up there with Gary just to pull the dead ones, and then he can order, and that's what takes the time to get the other ones ordered. But there's actually a lot of it.
There's not
Peace
many.
on Earth. We're gonna clean it up, paint it.
There are thousands of lights, thousands of bulbs.
Yeah.
We probably don't have many good bulbs, new bulbs left, we'll have to get some bulbs.
So at some point, maybe next month, I'll work with Sandy and we'll put something out that says, if you want to come up and help, we're just gonna open up the shop and just, it's gotta be done, and there's a lot more lights that we could actually use.
I think Mr. Poole and Mr. Carroll did.
I would really love to do it myself with Mr. Carey. I might actually start smoking those little cigars he smokes. Okay, Sandy, real quick while on this number 7, tell me again where we're at. You're going with Philip to find out what's going on with getting all the side roads cleaned?
No, so what I said was, we have a meeting in Asheville next week for, managers and town managers and county managers, the North Carolina League of Municipalities, about the disaster stuff. While I have those guys captive in the van going to Asheville is when I will bring up, why are the town streets of Newland still have debris? Because I sent an email and the reply, he replied that they would let us know when that last sweep would happen or when it would stop. But my thing is, we have photos. I mean, just about every street still has debris to pick up. Now, I do you guys have a release that he sent over today, and Justice put it on our website and on our Facebook page, that there's going to be a day that residents have to stop putting debris on the right-of-way. After that date, if they do, and they can figure out who did it, there's going to be fines for littering.
It's February 23rd.
Thank you. And so, but while I have them a captive audience, I'd like to talk to them about, Newland's debris that's still out there. I mean, Elk Street, there's some all up and down Elk Street. Watauga, there's stumps on Watauga, there's
Still a mess in front of Gerald's house.
Everywhere.
yeah, still a mess in front of Gerald's house. So, the citizens, as far as I know, the citizens did what they were told, most of them, and they put it in at the right of way. But what happens is the debris removal subcontractors come along and they pick up the easy stuff, is what I'm seeing. They pick up the easy stuff, and so these big trunks that are like even up at my house, there's big long 6-foot trunks this big around, and they drive by them every day. So they've not picked them up. So that's what I want to ask.
And the county needs to start letting people know, for instance, on Watauga Street, there's trees that fell all the way across, and they were cut by power cutter or somebody, and it's still, do we need to pull those up so that? Because my fear is, and I've talked to several of the contractors, and they have no plans of doing anything that we're discussing right now.
Yeah, from what we were told when we signed the memorandum of understanding, Gerald and Ms. Poor and everybody, they all put this, Michelle Poor put it together, and we all reviewed it, was that if the debris was at the right-of-way, the DOT right-of-way, which is, I call it right up there at the street without it being in the street, that it would be picked up by the debris removal and monitoring and removal company.
That MOU include side roads like Elk?
Yes, it was every
Okay.
street.
Yeah.
Secondary roads, yes.
I went around and took pictures for her last week, cause right down here on Old Toad, where the crew come in and kinda cleaned it off and just left it laying there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a stump bigger than that table that could fall off a hill at any time.
Yeah.
So there's still plenty that those guys left that nobody's ever went behind and cleaned up.
Okay, I'm gonna ask everybody in the room to call your local commissioner, Dennis Aldridge, and ask him. Cause I'm really in fear, I'm telling you, I'll mark my words tonight, that it's not gonna happen. And we're gonna end up with some sort of fight on our hands on what to do with these stumps and stuff, and it's gonna be sitting there years from now. That's not gonna be okay. And I, for one, don't mind to spend a little more money and get a big track and put it out in the highway for them if they need to. But that's the problem, is some of these stumps are so big that small tractors can't pick them up, and they can't, that cute little machine
Sure.
they've got.
Yeah.
Okay. Christmas lights, by the way, are coming down February, this Friday.
Yeah. I don't know what happened Monday.
It's fine with me, longer up, better. maybe.
Yeah, he said Friday.
I like Mayor Boone's not gonna bring up some. All right, request appearances, we did the resolution, we checked out all North Carolina government, yes, sir.
I've got a comment about that. Do I do it here, or do you want me
Go
to?
ahead. If it's about this, then go right ahead.
Yeah, it's about the resolution. Hey, so I was thinking, if this occupancy tax is so good for Newland, then, or make sure that it that we get the maximum, and again, I hope I'm wrong, I hope it's more than all that. So so just to make sure I understand this, if it's less than 90 days, regardless of what the intent is, the occupancy tax has to be collected. So even if somebody rents an apartment with a 1-year lease, and then for whatever reason, they have to break it after 60 days or all that, that tax does apply to that in order to bring everything in, okay?
Now, I need to check that, I don't think
No,
that's,
if you're-
it's
if-
not considered, an apartment is not considered a
Not
short-term
not
accommodation.
short-term.
It's
An
not a short-term
apartment- an
accommodation.
apartment should be no less than 6-month lease.
Well, I mean, I realize that.
Yeah.
It's not.
But we just had a discussion a few minutes ago that it didn't matter what the intent was across the street, it mattered what actually happened. Whether or not they were there 60 days or whether they were there 120, not what the intent was.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I think I'm gonna say what you're doing, Nate, is you're letting that big old brain of yours get away from you, and you're giving me a headache trying to help you understand it.
it hurts, I trust, cause I'm trying to figure that out across there. Yeah, I agree. It
But
really
I
breaks.
certainly understand your trepidation, because you wanna make sure you're doing the right thing, and you're pulling it off, I completely get that, but no, I think that you're going down too many rabbit holes right now that has nothing to do with, I think it's up to 90 days, have a good day, and then. it sounds like
Short-term
no refund.
accommodations.
Yeah.
Short-term accommodations, yeah.
And if you would like to send me an email at finance@townofnewland.org with your questions, I'll be glad to send them to the occupancy tax expert at the School of Government and get his reading on it.
Oh, absolutely. Just want to make sure that if the town of Newland passes a law, that it gets applied equally as it should.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. North Carolina Government Debt Set Off Clearinghouse Program sign up.
That will be Jessica presenting this tonight.
Okay, yep, that's me. So, the first one included memorandum of understanding and agreement. I'll just go ahead and kind of understand or explain what all of this is, and that's what is part of the understanding and agreement form. So I am part of a clerk listserv, and that includes all of the clerks in the state of North Carolina. And you can just go on there and send an email to this huge group asking any questions that you might have. And all the clerks can respond and give you any answers or any guidance that they can give you. So I asked just sample letters or what process they use to collect back taxes. And this one clerk from Castle Beach, they actually use a program through North Carolina with the municipalities, and it's free, 100% free. And they actually go and try to collect these back taxes. And the process of you have to do it, you send a letter like you normally do to the individuals, and if they don't respond within 30 days, you send another letter saying, hey, you're gonna be charged an additional $15, and that's the only money that goes to this clearinghouse program. We collect all the other money that they collect from the debtors. So it's a really nice program, and we don't have to bother Gerald with him going after all of this. We can use this free program. And all we have to do is pass this understanding and agreement. And then you'll also see in your other little packet form, there's the resolution for it, which is just stating that we agreed to do the program and we're gonna move forward with it. And I also attached behind that, you can see all the counties and municipalities who are already doing this program, and Ada County is part of it.
And
So-
what this allows to happen is, if the person doesn't pay, they can go after their tax returns. This clearinghouse can go after that person's tax returns. So, you know, we send a letter, and we send a second letter, and then our hands are washed of it, and we let these guys collect those back taxes. So it's less work on trying to get the ones that aren't paying their back taxes.
Because Gerald has the dollars.
That you think worth the squeeze to it.
I'll make a motion, we pass this, a resolution enjoying the debt set-off program provided by the state of North Carolina.
Is it provided by the Central Fund, or is it private?
No, it's the North Carolina League of Municipalities.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll say.
All those in favor?
Aye. All right. Good work.
Thank you.
Scope of work for bank recs and pre-audit work.
Okay, the next item is for, remember few months ago when you guys approved for me to join the North Carolina League of Municipalities AIM program, which is their accounting mentorship program. And the NCLM said, hey, if you join, then we can provide some accounting help for the town of Newland because we know you're late on some of your audits, and we'll even pay for one audit. So that's what this is. This is a scope of work and a memorandum of understanding or an engagement letter from the North Carolina League of Municipalities to send a certified public accountant into Newland. She'll be here next Thursday, if you approve this. She will start on our bank reconciliations and pre-audit work for last year's fiscal year 23-24, and also do some pre-audit work for 24-25 to get us ready to be done. And so if you read through this, you'll see an amount that we're saving of about $66,500
Yeah.
for all of this work.
I make a
From now
motion to
to,
accept this immediately.
and it's free to Newland.
Uh,
So, and it just need to get your permission that I can sign the letter, if that's all right.
Sooner we get that back, the better.
Okay.
Prior year tax releases,
That's me as well. In front of you, you've got a little spreadsheet and it says tax releases at the top. This is just me working on back taxes. And I've gone through these, I've gone through, maps and everything, but the total below is $450.44. You've got the individual's name, the parcels, the reason of why it needs to be released. There's a lot of them where it was taxes transferred over from Alpha. And technically, they actually were sold years before to a separate individual. And so these are the ones that I have definitely 100% figured for sure that needs to be released from the system.
I'll make a motion, we do these tax releases on this list that she has here. Some of these folks are dead.
one of them, please.
Yeah. He sold it. But I'll make a motion that we do the tax releases in the amount of $450.44. Hard to collect from a dead person. I know two of them's dead.
Well, the Democrats vote, so why can't we collect?
That's the reason.
I have a motion, I have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Call for a public hearing for March the 4th, I guess at 5 o'clock, now, chapter 80, paragraph 81-9, animals.
That was at your request? Yes.
Yeah, we need to put this chicken fiasco behind us, so the next board meeting, we're gonna have
Are we not having a public hearing
what-
about that?
That's what we're talking about right now.
That's what we're getting ready to vote on.
I'm just asking that we call for a public hearing for
I'll
March.
make a motion to do a public hearing on March the 4th, 2025 at 5 p.m. to discuss animals in the town of Newland.
Have a motion, have a second. All those in favor? Public Works.
I didn't give y'all my paperwork, figured I'd save the money. Last month, got $15,405 on work orders. I know about 1,200 of that is from plowing snow, spreading salt. But on the bright side, that's only $1,200, not $2,400, because it used to be $250. Year to date, looks like, stuff I've put into the work order system is about $188,000, which I know 50,000 of that is that pump we put in Tweetsie after the hurricane, so. But that's just, money that we've accounted for in the work order system that used to be it was spent. We wasn't exactly sure where it was. We can go look it up now. I put a no dumping sign out at the corner of High School Road today because people don't really pay attention to where they dump stuff. And we've got 2 vaults and several valves there. So I put a no dumping sign there. I need some guidance. The trailer park on Old Vale, The other day, they had a leak. We saw it when, I did meter reads. It's the trailer park right across from Kenny's driveway.
Okay, yeah.
There's like 15 units out there. Last year, they used 4,008,282 gallons of water. That's 12.5% of the town's water for the year. That's 22,000 gallons per trailer per month. That's highly excessive.
You gotta stop taking all this spa baths, buddy.
I mean, they average 350,000 gallons of water a month for 15 trailers.
Sounds like when you shut them off, maybe you find a leak.
Well, I turned it off the other day because they had a burst, and they got somebody out there to look at it, and they turned it back on. But
They turn it back on, or you turn it back on?
They turned it back on after the plumbers turned the water off the trailer at 5, I think. But they've had a leak since I started. The first month we put the electronic meter in after I started, they did 170,000 gallons, and it's been over 350, pretty much average since then. Bill's had them out here, we talked to them, I talked to them the other day and expressed that they need to get somebody out here and fix it, because this is excessive. The average for a 4-person household is 10,000 gallons a month, and they're averaging 22,268 a trailer. So, I was under the impression from them the other day that they had replaced 2/3 of the lines, but after I talked to someone in the trailer park, they're like, I haven't seen them do anything. So, I just feel like we need to send them an ultimatum that they need to get this repaired, and they need to go through and do all the lines. They need to replace every water line out there and put a meter at each trailer so that they can tell where they have a leak instead of just me telling them they got a leak. I mean, I'd rather leave it on one meter for us to bill them, but they need better accountability in their own trailer park.
Ms. Carroll?
I spoke to a lady that lives in the trailer park today, who tells me that she lives by herself. Her lot rent is $350 a month. She owns her trailer, but because everybody, they just split the water bill amongst all of the residents, which is highly unfair. I agree with Gary, they each need to have a water meter. But she said that the trailer in front of her, which has had nobody living in it full-time, except for 3 dogs, they're there all the time. A woman comes, the person who was living there comes once a day and feeds them. They bark incessantly, but that was where the water burst was. So I think that's all the time, it's been so cold, there's been nobody there. But there's a number of issues with that trailer park, and she is there all of the time. She says nobody fixes anything ever.
Do we know who the owner is?
It's
Do you know who the owner is?
Equivest.
Equivex is the provider or service company, but they are not the owner.
In Atlanta.
Their road is so bad, it's not drivable.
I can't say that earlier.
So, I mean, I just think we need to send this group an ultimatum, get it fixed, or we need to turn the water off. I mean, 4 million gallons is a lot of water in a year.
So this is the 1st of February, send them a letter and say, you got till March 1 to have all of them individually metered, or we'll shut it off. Have a good day.
Well, I mean, I'd say we give them 30 days to have a plan in place that needs to be completed in 60 days, because, you know, like last week, you wouldn't have dug no water line till it thawed out. And, you know, the conference snow again on Monday, so, I think we have to at least give them a 30-day to have a plan, and then give them 30 days to complete it, but something's gotta give. We've let them waste way too much water.
Is the board okay with sending them a letter and say you got till March 15th to do this? That's the board.
I like how Gary put it, send them a letter saying you got 30 days to come up with a plan.
So basically, they got till March 15th to come up with a plan, then they got till April 15th to execute it, and have something done.
Will you be constructing the letter?
I can.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we let Gary send this group a letter so we can, with what we need covered out there.
Have a motion of a second.
Mr. Mayor, while we're on that subject, I would encourage, because this property is, next door to me, straight across from the new facility of Avery Feeding Families, if y'all know where that is, where they give away the food and stuff. I would encourage each board member not to go on these folks' private property, but just to drive down Old Vale Road, where you can look up into this mobile home park and look at the condition of what it is. And I think each of you, if you had to look at that every time you come in and out of your driveway, you'd say, this is not what we want Newland to be. I encourage in y'all's time, any of you that have time, just to drive down Old Vale Road, and not asking you to go on their private property, but just what you can see from the road, just look at it and see how, I think you can see from that angle right there, the problem that those folks, and a lot of those folks in there, I'm sure they're probably doing the best that they can, but they have no support from the owners whatsoever. If you're paying $350 a month,
Put your own trailer.
just to put your own trailer there, just for a place to park it, and there's nothing provided for you, and you never know from one month till the next what your water bill's gonna be.
Yeah. I'm also concerned about the dogs that are being tended to once a day.
Well, I mean, Jessica and I figured up, in water bill costs the last 2 years was right at, what, $96,000? They could have put a whole new water system in for that.
You can see the water running, it's on the hill, so you can see the water running down into the road.
Yeah, we need
Does this need a motion, or is this,
to. It just doesn't.
Yeah, we'll put together, Gary can put together a letter, and do you want it signed by Gary to send out to them?
Yeah. Gary's
Okay.
the one that-
Yeah.
Yep.
Gary exercises some authority.
That's all the time. Okay,
All right, last thing, I'd like to put heat in Secaucus. Need roughly $9,500. I've got 2 quotes, one's a little over 8 and one is less than 8. And then I need $500 to use a scissor lift to close in the upper air vent that they never did. So, I'd like to get the okay to put heat up there. I mean, we won't get a whole lot of use out of it this year, but it sure would have been nice to have it up there last month. So, and it'd also make it easier to work on Christmas lights and do other things too, do oil changes and stuff.
Is that in your budget?
and keep the salt from freezing.
It should be, but
Well, then you just do what you think you need, it's in your budget.
I'll have to check with the finance officer and see if I have the money available. But I just wanna get y'all's okay and,
Fund 30 has money, Fund 10 does not.
the only other thing, I got a hold of Brian Hamby from DOT. I'm asking him about the sidewalk deal, whether it's DOT's responsibility or the town's responsibility. We have FEMA coming on Friday to meet with, to cover roads and culverts and go over all that list to see what they're
Site
gonna do.
inspections.
Yeah, site visit on Friday, so if I haven't heard back from him Thursday morning, I'll call him back Thursday afternoon. But I also brought up to him those storm drains that are across from the elementary school that I know there's at least 2 that are probably fixing to fall in. So one of these dump trucks is gonna be in a hole one day, so we'll see where he goes with that too. And that's all I got.
And do you know, were the sidewalks and the streetlights not paid with a grant, like the sidewalk grant or whatever kind of grant when Brenda was here?
That's when Shoemaker, when we had Shoemaker, all that flooding, I think, when it, not this last time, but back in, what year would that have been, Butch,
2006.
6, whatever, yeah.
I know y'all got those hideous lights off this grant.
That's when they did this, they got the grants and stuff for the sidewalk, when we, redid, got Shoemaker, and we got some grants for the sidewalks.
Is the town, do you remember if, is the town responsible or is the state responsible for sidewalks?
The town, yeah.
But I think with the current situation, we might can get grants and stuff to replace or at least
Yeah.
redo, fix.
Because there was always a problem down there in front of Premier Pharmacy, who, about the sidewalk, well, we really want the sidewalk, just a little paved area in there. There's always a problem with that, so.
The only
If it's on
issue.
the- If it's on the town, hopefully we can get FEMA too, especially pack rats is what I'm talking about right there. And then there's another spot over there in front of Dave's that's, washed out around the edge there where that sidewalk is too.
Is there a spot beside the cruise through as well?
That's the reason we're asking is our public assistance, PDM Marquise, our FEMA rep, says that FEMA needs to know, is it town responsibility or DOT responsibility? That's why we're asking about the sidewalk,
Damn.
so.
Okay. That way it goes into the list with theirs.
Gary, I have a question, I might have missed it when I had to step out and run to the restroom. The sewage running out over there in the mobile home park beside the old Lowe's.
I'm getting ready to address that in my town manager
Yeah, that's,
comments, if that's okay.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it'd been repaired or any update on it.
no, I didn't cover that because I knew she was.
Okay, good.
Gary, on that list, I know that I don't know how much the fence got knocked down on the river walk, but I know that past me and down, so much of that fence is down.
See, that's a separate category. What we'll go over Friday is streets and culverts. The river walk and Shoemaker and all that is a separate, we've got like 5 different dates for people to come and look at stuff. So, yeah, all that will be encompassed in a separate walkthrough.
Yeah, they'll do the river walk on March 11th. FEMA site inspectors will come out and look at that.
Just for, when they look at that, and then one of the things they're gonna see is that concrete wall from where the dumpster was
Yes.
falling over. I'm just letting you know that they're likely gonna say, well, that's because of that, which it's actually not. It's because the ground shifted, and that wall has been falling down for 15 years,
Yeah.
20 years now. And I brought it up before the board at one point, I'm certain, never remember that. But so when this did happen, that did roll into the unfortunate no one knows that either.
Yeah, there's a lot of work gonna have to happen there.
Anyhow, just,
Okay.
make sure that was no.
Yeah.
Cindy, can we come bring back up the, Puerto Nuevo's dumpsters over on Mike Nelson's property? And now that we've had all these changes to the town, can we try and find a different location to put that thing, because it's a constant, I mean, it stays
Yeah.
overflowing. and-
Yeah, I would like to do what we had talked about a while, 2 years ago. I'd like to move those dumpsters for Puerto, closer to Puerto, and put them over there behind Dr. Jewell's office.
I'd like to move
in-
it somewhere.
in our-
closer. They
in our-
bring a lot of people into town and
They
they
do.
do a lot of business.
In our grassy area that's right there where Mountain Heritage used to park their vehicles. We would like to get later on, once we can get the FEMA money, we're gonna hopefully reestablish the dog park out of the swampy Shoemaker area and put it up there in the area that's
Beside
across
the
from
house, no.
yeah, where the trailer was moved, and put it there, and then there should be room for the 2 dumpsters next to it. I would think, and just make a gravel area, or, and then Porto, I don't know,
We need to
put their,
put some dirt in there and maybe put some drainage around each side, kind of mound it up, so the water will run off of that and run away. I mean, it's pretty high in there now, but on that back side where the trailers sit, that's a deep little thing, so it probably wouldn't hurt to maybe put some kind of drainage over there, so any water that ran that way would go out. But I think that would be a whole lot better dog park, a whole lot drier and cleaner if we put it over there. And we could put the dumpsters down on Dr. Jewell's end, down there at that tree, and, the truck could get it and be gone. It wouldn't be an eyesore. We could put, lattice up around it or whatever, cover them up.
Let's look at some places, because it's a constant problem, Okay. Police report.
Alright, so for January, we had a total of 489 calls. We had 17 calls to assist other agencies. 6 motor vehicle accidents, 2 domestics, We had 5 calls for a suspicious person, 2 calls for trespassing, and 4 calls for an unwanted person on the property. Officer Buchanan, I believe it was the 26th of this month, he located a stolen car out of Michigan. Charged the guy with possession of a stolen car, found some marijuana in the vehicle. And this guy, he, everything went fine, but it was probably a good thing that we got him off the road. We'll just leave it at that. I've been still doing some reading and research on some grants and stuff I can come up with. I thought there was one that was gonna come open this month to apply for, but I don't know where I read it at, but it doesn't come open until April. And then the one through the state, it's federal money, it doesn't come open until October, through the federal fiscal year. Been talking to some other people, talked to Drell a couple times about doing some, trying to get some ideas to do some fundraising, the best way that we can. Still haven't got nothing nailed down for sure on how we're gonna do that, or what we're gonna do.
Do a donut sale, totally sell donuts.
Yeah, that'd look pretty good.
Make sure Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, Krispy Kreme.
Other than that, that's all I've got right now.
All right, thank you, Chief. Manager, no finance officer?
Sales and use tax for December 2024 will be coming in the middle of February. And it's estimated $38,800, which is a nice $5,500 increase from last month. So it's looking good. 2024 tax collection rate, Jessica, 87.8%.
Still 80%.
She's sent letters to citizens regarding prior year tax balances and been successful in collecting $7,439 since July 1st for back taxes. I have a budget amendment for you. Did I hand that to you? Hopefully. Where's it at? Hopefully. Sorry. I have a budget amendment that I need the board to approve. We have insurance proceeds from Tokyo Marine, our commercial insurance carrier, for our damages during Helene. Now, how this works is, you get this insurance money, and of course they deduct depreciation and the $50,000 deductible, and so we got $87,906.62. What happens is when FEMA goes through and does their work and they end up with whatever money they're going to give the town, they will do 2 things. They will say, okay, you got this, but we think you should have gotten more, so they'll give us the difference. Or they look at this and say, you got too much, and they're gonna deduct some. So we don't know how it'll pan out, but I think this is probably a conservative estimate because Tokyo Marine's pretty tough on this stuff. But they sent out their adjusters a couple of months ago, and so this money, I have a budget amendment so that this money, insurance proceeds, I made a brand new general ledger account number to put that into, and it goes to water and wastewater damages that we've already made payments for fixes, except some things aren't fixed, like fences and cutting trees off of fences and things like that. Well, not cutting trees, but fences need to be repaired and other repairs. So I just need your approval for this budget amendment to add $87,906.62 to Fund 30, water, wastewater operations.
Can I see it?
Yes, sorry. Did I not give you guys a copy?
No, we ain't had one, that's all. I make a motion as we amend the budget in the amount to add $87,906.62.
Yeah, motion, I have to see the number. All those in favor?
My apologies. You have to sign it.
I had to see the number, I couldn't remember. They're not on.
Thank you. Oh. Do that to me tomorrow morning. The next thing is I have a quote for 2 new desk computers for the town clerk and tax collector and the town manager finance officer. Our computers are 7 years old and they are not keeping up with what Jessica and I need to do on them. They're constantly timing out, doing crazy stuff, so I thought that we could use, since we've rented out the office space to Chief Cares at $1,000 a month, that'll be $6,000, that we could use $2,700 to get 2 new computers for, the tax collector, town clerk, and the town manager, finance officer.
I agree.
Why are we not getting Macs?
I mean, I can use a Mac, but it's not easy to learn to use a Mac.
Mac don't play well with everything.
Yes, it doesn't. Everything else is Microsoft based, and we're better off with just getting PCs.
Do you need a motion for that?
Well, it's a quote, and it's not above my limit. Is my limit like 5,000? I just needed you guys to know that, this is what I'd like to do with. Yes, you did, but I have to bring it before the board so that it's official, that I'm asking the board to okay this purchase of
7
the
years is
PCs.
a long time for a computer.
For an office, it is.
Yeah.
So,
Update those.
Is that okay, everyone? Is that okay? All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, now the town manager report. We have a letter, I have a letter from Samaritan's Purse. They are providing a new trailer for a lady and her daughter in the trailer park over on Asa and Bird Street. And they're taking the old trailer out because it was flooded and damaged during Helene. They're bringing her in a brand new manufactured home that will be occupied by the lady and her daughter. It'll be put in the exact same footprint where it's being taken out of. And I just wanted you guys to know about that. They asked me to just make sure the board was okay with them providing this new home.
As long as it's new. Not a 1963 silver model.
Chief Cares folks have moved in and they love it. They're excited about being here with us, and we'll just hope that we'll have a great relationship with them for the maybe 6 or so months that they're going to be in there, and they get their project off and running and up and going.
Get Eric Church to sing it for 4th of July.
Right? I'll put in a plug. Oh, and I'd like to thank Maria Roberts. I would like to thank you for painting the Chief Cares office. We won't tell them what you put on the wall. But Maria came in and painted the Chief Cares office so that it was nice and bright for them for when they got here. And I'd also like to say thank you to Cody and John for coming in from App Seal Coating and moving the desks out of one office and into there so that they would have a desk to use.
So, thank all 3 of them.
The FEMA site visit starts, as Gary said, this Friday. We'll have several more in March. You have the debris, the press release for debris that came from the county, and there's the copies out for citizens. And Bird Street issues. Let's talk about Bird Street. I've been over to Bird Street 3 times looking at an open sewage issue, as we talked about in the last meeting. And several times, all those times have told them, get it fixed, and it was being fixed by not a certified plumber. So my last suggestion, telling them it needs to be done by a certified North Carolina plumber. I took her a violation letter for this area on January 30th, and it's $100 a day, this violation letter, according to our ordinance, because she had been verbally warned. And so then I took her this written warning and had her sign for it. I had a police officer with me, Dylan went with me. And so her fine started on the 31st, $100 a day until it's fixed. The only other thing I can do now is call in North Carolina DEQ, because it's not fixed yet. And I don't know how to get this person's attention. We actually turned the water off, but it was so cold, we had to turn the water back. We had to have them turn the water back on because people need water, and you can't do that because of, pipes and stuff. So we had to turn the water back on, but it's not fixed.
We told them they had to get a plumber to certify the repair. They said they called Plum Fast. Supposedly Plum Fast did show up on the Tuesday, and then she kept saying they were supposed to be back the next day, So I called Plum Fast, and basically they washed their hands of it after the first visit because they said it looked like something shady was going on and they didn't want anything to do with it. And we basically have not heard anything else from the trailer park since then, and I ride through every day and take pictures of the open hole.
So does PD.
So,
And I will say that we did go to the health department and talk to the environmental guys there. And they did tell me that they couldn't do anything because it's a sewage system and not a septic tank system. So it has to be an NCDEQ issue.
Kinda look at it like this, if I was living near or around that trailer park and this was going on, I'd be pretty hot with the town. And I think we have the ability to turn the water off. So I'm still trying to understand why we haven't just shut I understand what you're saying about the cold weather, but there comes a time when you shut the water off and say, look, it's not healthy.
There are a lot of residents there, a lot of elderly and disabled. That's what I worry about.
Shut the water off, it shuts. the
Yes,
water off.
everyone, they're not there's not separate lines there. If you shut the
Okay,
water off,
Let me ask you a question. If your
Yes, sir.
next door neighbor had this going on and it was your dog was going over there and coming back with
yes, I
elbow deep
understand.
and poop,
Right.
would you be okay?
Yeah,
with
I
it?
would not,
And I understand that, and I understand that people are affected, but I also know that 90% of that trailer park is a problem for the PD and a problem for the neighborhood.
Yes, and we're working on that aspect too,
And-
with this
and
particular one.
Don't get offended by this, but I've been here, we're working on this, I've been here for 3 years. So at some point, we need to just bow up and say, look, no water, it's open sewage for goodness sakes, that's just not,
Okay, okay,
It's
okay.
not Alabama.
If,
It's not
so,
healthy.
all right, so as long as I have the town council's permission, we will turn off the water tomorrow. That's all I gotta know.
Yep.
I don't feel like I can make that decision because there are elderly and disabled folks there.
Is there any way to put a block on their just house at all?
no.
Well,
Right in.
they, I think each trailer has its own meter, but it's their meter. Basically, we have one meter and that's what we bill them for. Cause that's what started last summer. Apparently they'd turned the meter off to the bad trailer and then somebody went out there and ripped it out of the ground. And they had water flowing 10,000 gallons for a day.
Do we know who ripped it out of the ground? And could that not be charged?
So that's not our,
It's not our meter.
it wasn't our meter, it was,
It's
The
their
property
internal,
owners.
it's their trailer park internal meter, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and,
It'll be damaged personal.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But see,
Not the town, but somebody.
Yeah, but I think what everybody's missing here is we have one person that owns all of this, and she lives in Asheville, she's got, and I'm gonna try my very best not to use Derek Roberts' words, but she's got another younger relative that's siphoning off, what little bit of money that's coming in over, and nobody actually knows who owns some of those trailers.
exactly, like,
There's constantly fights, you have, and I'll use the term, you have meth heads that pile up in some of the trailers, and then they end up getting in fights and can't provide proper leases to the chief, and
yeah.
it's just, it turns into, I've lost 2 employees over there, and to this day, nobody knows if they're still alive, just because it's an abyss.
So,
The one
just to
trailer,
clarify, you turned the water, you told them you were gonna turn the water off. and you
We did turn the water off. And then they got it fixed, or they said they got it fixed, so we went out there and sure enough, it looked like it was fixed. So they turned the water back on. And then I went out there a day or 2 later and I'm walking up with Dylan. This is when I had the violation letter because I just wanted to make sure, cause she had said the Plum Fest had been out there. And I looked down and at the end where they ran the sewer line, they put a boot. Well, at the boot, because it wasn't done by a plumber, a North Carolina certified plumber, there was a puddle. So I can only assume that puddle is sewage because it smells terrible there. So it has to be sewage seeping out of that line, so it's not fixed.
And when did the $100 a day fine first?
31st of January.
Okay, well, if enough of it piled up, I have never done that, but maybe hitting them in their pocketbook, we could go after them to enforce those fines. Is another possibility, that may get their attention too, and people won't get displaced, but you might have an incentive to do it, is to sue and say, not only what's accrued, but as it accrues, we're gonna get a judgment against you for this.
I even told her that.
Maybe that's some of it.
Yeah, I even told her that when we shut it off, that the disabled lady, she needed to find accommodations for that lady. She needed to find a place at the Shady Lawn for her. She said, oh, yes, I'll do that. And all these promises and promises and promises. And
I understand when it's so cold that you couldn't cut the ground. But I just don't understand why they didn't have somebody there today.
Just pull down that street and take a look at the, junkyard we got going on in the horseshoe.
yes.
Sit for just a second, and I promise you, it'll look like you had pulled into a zombie apocalypse movie.
And that's my next action is that one trailer that has all of that. I'm having Jessica write a letter on the piles of garbage bags that are sitting there. So we'll serve a letter to that and then tell them they've got 10 days to clean that up. And if it's not, then there'll be another $100 a day.
While you do that, go ahead and send one down here crossing the beds off.
Yes, I'm doing that as well. We've already talked about that. Tony Luther's place, yes.
Stephen's in jail, isn't he?
As of yesterday, yeah.
But
Well, could the town pay for having it fixed, then bill the owner of the trailer park?
All of them would have to pay Miss Donetta because they only have one meter and they split it.
Okay, but now does
but for fixing the sewer line,
But for the sewer line though, is what I'm saying, if the town paid to get the sewer line fixed and then bill the actual owner of the trailer park.
can we do that, Gerald?
Once you pay to have my sewer line fixed, and I'll pay y'all back.
Well,
Excuse me.
I know we did that before on something, I can't remember when I was on the board, but we had to pay to get something repaired, I can't remember what it was now, but then we just billed the owner for that.
I mean, in that instance, what we're doing is when we shut it off, and I understand we need to shut it off, I get that. We're punishing the 85 or 95% out there that do things properly. And I hate that for them, but like you say, I guess the only way to get their attention is shut the water off.
Yeah, but if the owner is not doing what they're supposed to be,
They're not.
I mean, the people that's renting there needs to put pressure on the person that owns a trailer park. Because, I mean, that place it's a terrible, terrible eyesore. You go to United Community Bank and you can see, today I was over there, and there was this huge, like a teepee thing.
It's a hot tent.
What's that about?
They got
Temporary
a
lodging?
couple of hot tents, saying they were homeless. So they got a hot tent from whatever organization, 2 hot tents actually. And they have a generator and wood stove.
Oh, I thought you meant like a Cheech and Chong was doing this.
No, it's a.
Well, it kinda looks like that, to be honest with you.
I think that might be where my employees are. I found it.
But that place it has always been
Yeah, ever since-
a disaster in there.
The only
Selling
leverage we have is
drugs.
shut the water off. I
Yeah.
said we shut the water off. We tell them, when you have it fixed, and maybe go around picking on doors and tell all the residents, we're having to do this. And you can put pressure on this young lady right here, and when they actually pony up and get it fixed, we'll turn it back
Can you
on.
send a letter or make a form letter and give one in the.
Put one in every door, I think we should, just let everybody know, so I don't think
Out
we're just
there.
being hard to deal with. This is, I'd be furious if I had open septic in my neighborhood.
I mean, that is so
Yeah, unhealthy.
unsanitary, unhealthy. I mean, that is just dangerous.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
y'all were talking a minute ago about, and I think I'm all for this Samaritan's Purse, trying to help folks that had their home destroyed and stuff. And y'all say, well, it's going back on the same footprint and stuff, but that's something you need to look at down the road, because you're opening up another door. You have another ordinance that was passed, when I served on the board here. It's in that same chapter 80, I believe, about mobile homes, the size and the amount of space it takes. They're limited to like 4 mobile homes to an acre.
Yeah,
So
I remember
they're
that
not
one, Judy.
thing together. Well, if they pull one out right now under the ordinance that we had, you can't put another one back there unless y'all change that ordinance, or do something else. if you allow this to happen, and I'm not against these folks getting a place to live, I'm sure they need it. But you're opening up a whole can of worms down the road when somebody else comes in. Well, you let them put one in, so we're gonna put another one in. We worked for 2 or 3 months on this ordinance.
Kenny, I can see the end of this meeting, and you had to bring this up.
Absolutely.
And I get your point, but I couldn't do that to someone that's homeless.
Well then, all the folks out there, I suggest y'all, like I did before, all of you, drive down Old Vale Road. You don't have to get on the property. Just go like you turned up my driveway. We've had such a problem in the past year that if we try to maintain our stuff.
And I understand that, Mr. Kenny. I also understand that we're in a new era right now called Helene Disaster Recovery. And I understand that, and I know what you're saying. And this is going, you know, it's going right back in the same footprint that it was in. I understand you have an ordinance.
But now, but hold on, and.
Well,
it's
we
on
have an
YouTube,
ordinance.
Kenny.
We have
It'll
an,
be on YouTube. I agree with Kenny.
Oh, no.
He is 100% correct.
Yes, he
And
is.
I understand what you're saying.
right.
You're 100% correct to a point. And the problem that I have is if the ordinance was put in there to start trying to weed some of this stuff out in the future, and we're gonna usurp that just because, and I get what you're saying, but maybe we need to talk to Marion first, say, hey, let's pump the brakes. We wanna support you, but let's find somewhere else to put this trailer.
Okay.
I mean, that was a question. That was open-ended. I'm not saying that, I mean, that's the way Derek Ross do if I was king for the day, but I'm not king.
Because if we
If I
keep
can
on
add
allowing
this
this,
to-
it's
If I
just,
can add this to it.
Sure, Kenny.
From what we-
Since we're agreeing, go right ahead.
For the 30 years I've lived there, up until last year, all I had going across the property where my driveway is was a deeded right-of-way for myself and my neighbor next door with that. It was a constant problem. Our water line runs up that driveway. Like, all the traffic on that and weather like this, it's busting the water lines and stuff. So, okay. It got to be such a problem with the mobile home park next door. The folks that put in the Avery Feeding Families finally said, this is such a liability, that's really on our property, even though it's a right of way. So they give us a deed to it. So now myself and my neighbor own that 12-foot right of way. And I still can't keep the people off of it, even though I've got the no trespassing signs. Last year, just a certain portion of it cost me $3,000 to replace the water line. You have to have something to be able to control the neighborhood out there. I encourage all of you, each one of you, you don't have to come all the way up my driveway, just pull in the driveway, right next door to Avery Feeding Family's driveway, just stop and look to your right. I don't think the junk that's in that one trailer right there, I don't think you could, that's in the yard, and the trash bags are piled up around it.
Sandy, do we need to give them a notice?
I
We
don't
will do
think
that.
that you could haul that off in 2 tri-axle dump truck loads.
Can
I
you,
almost kinda wanna get a
Jessica,
short bus
can
and
you
load
get,
everybody up and go
can you
all
get
day.
the address from, and get a,
Well,
sort of the same letter then?
up until about 2 weeks ago, there was a dumpster sitting right down there next to where that, fuel truck was sitting. They could have dumped, a dump truck load in there every week, cause the county was emptying that. Cause we took stuff there from Feeding Every Families, that's where we
Y'all
were
know the
taking.
place I'm talking about, because y'all see it from your
Yeah,
driveway.
see it every time we
right
go
there.
in there, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Well, let's send that a letter
So-
too.
Yeah, I've asked Jessica to do that.
They
So
can't get up their own driveway over there now because it's so muddy and the water running down from the water leak that's running out in the road through Pittman Trucking Park. I had
Sandy,
town
you-
police out
what's
there
your-
today.
What's your thoughts on how to handle
Excuse
it?
me, I'm sorry.
we'll do letters to all of them, because this is not new. There was a trip that the previous town administrator and the police department and the public works supervisor went out to this trailer park, and they listed all the violations, and they all got letters, and Equifest got letters, and nothing was done, so we'll just do it again and we'll start fines. We'll find the individual and not, or we'll find Equivest, whichever you guys tell me.
Find everybody.
fine
Right,
everybody.
wake up and then-
I don't think we can, that'd be double dipping and we can't do that, so I need to know, do I need to find the trailer park owners? Or do I need to find the trailer individual
Who do you send the bill, the water bill to?
to the Equivest?
That's who you find.
Okay. Now, another question before I forget, because I'm old now. Turned 70. So before I forget, I need to tell Samaritan's Purse they cannot I need the board to vote or do whatever to tell me they can or cannot do that. Or I need their recommendation,
When is Samaritan's Purse supposed to be replacing this trailer?
like next week. Isn't that what they said, Jessica? Like a week?
And according to the present ordinance, no, you can't.
Okay.
So it's pretty simple. So my other question would be, is the hot tent or whatever that is that allowed? No.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Is camping on town property, is it town property or private property? If it's private property,
Oh,
I don't
see what
know.
they're doing. They're
I don't
using
know.
that. They're homeless folks.
They're homeless
using
folks
that
and they're
because
using-
of the storm.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, that's what they're
Well,
doing.
they
That's
can't-
their
they can
house.
Probably paying rent for that lot also, using water off of that.
I don't think they're hooked up to water, the hot tents.
Well,
I've not seen the hot tent, so I'll go take a look. I'm interested.
Oh, you wanna see the
I'm,
hot
I'm
tents?
interested.
Look out in my front yard at the hot tents set up in that trailer park over there that we're talking about now. With stovepipe run out the top and watch
want one of those hot
traffic going in.
I mean, I'm familiar with them because of camping, but I haven't seen them in Newland, but okay. What a mess.
I'm pretty certain that's not
So, are you done? Huh? You got something else to say?
Well, I just say it, if y'all would just look at it there, you would realize.
Yeah, we're coming
We
to
get,
Oakville.
we get that,
I'm
yeah.
gonna do it in the morning. I'm gonna get a biscuit and I'm right out there.
Come on out, I'll
I'm
be
gonna sit on
glad.
the corner and enjoy my biscuit and look at what we got going on.
I'll give you a tour
Can we finish
that
out
you can see
Sandy on
from my, you don't have to go on their property, you can see it from there.
Yes, Dave,
I'm just hoping we can move on off the topic, so.
yes.
Where we at with?
I just got one thing to say. The ordinance about 4 houses per acre, you're looking at,
These 4 dwellings per lot.
you're looking at 18, 19, 20 places in a 2-acre tract.
It is acre, Dave. 4 houses per acre.
Because when you look it up on here, it shows both parcels, the one from Birch Street and the one from Mason Street, and it says it's 2.2 acres. 2.02 acres.
There's probably a lot of violations around the town, and I don't know what's grandfathered and what isn't, so if that's a grandfathered area,
If they were there before the ordinance, they would have been grandfathered.
Unless they pull a trailer out from there, then another one can't go
That's
by.
correct.
That's the whole thing.
okay. I'll let Samaritan's Purse know that they have to either find another place for it.
I don't think they can.
What, Gerald?
I think the way the ordinance is written, I don't think they can do it.
Okay.
Well, I like that we're starting to use our ordinances now. That's a good change. Very good change. I'll have breakfast with you this week, big guy. Me and you.
All right.
Bring them stogies with you. I love the smell. Go ahead, Ms. Caraway.
There's a thing here, and it's about the trailer parks that are in the
The
town. of
trailer parks
Newland.
are always a problem, yeah.
That I think maybe there needs to be more research about how we can better figure out how to make those parcels, cleaner, or subscribe to the town ordinances, or the people who live there are the ones that are at risk, as well as everybody else, and they don't have any, they are disenfranchised people. So maybe it is time to look at those properties.
Amen.
And they don't have anywhere else to go.
No.
Either.
Yeah, I've lived in trailer parks and that's usually, you know, you buy a trailer, you don't have a place to put it, so you put it wherever you can. And, you know, some trailer parks are better than others for sure.
But you can keep it
Look at
clean, there needs to
You
be
can-
regulations,
you
just
can-
like anybody else's home.
Absolutely.
And it's not fair to the businesses and the people that live there that are law-abiding citizens that do the right thing that has this in their backyard. That's wrong.
Okay, Sandy, where we at?
I'm done other than the closed session, thank you.
We have to
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
We've been
Citizen,
doing-
these
we've been doing
citizens, same thing,
citizen comments.
and you're cut off.
Y'all have anything you wanna say?
Right, while I've got the police and let's work on getting all your stuff out of the shop that you told them you're gonna get out. The Hummers and all that, let's get it moved up there. If you need some help, give me a call.
We moved a ton of stuff, like,
We'll keep moving. And then, if you'll pick a day, I'll send you some help, and we need to haul out a bunch of those boxes that you got in Picasa, do some rearranging. Yes,
Rearranging for what?
for anything. I mean, when you come in there, you got boxes that have been there for a while, we'll haul them off for you.
We can get rid of the boxes, but I mean, there ain't a whole lot of rearranging. After I take the Dodge back up there, park it in the middle and then, that'll be pretty much.
I'd like for you to add on the agenda next month for us to talk about equipment and deal with all this stuff, please. Any more council comments?
While everybody's still here, I've been talking with a gentleman that's working with Bridge Angels throughout the county and Watauga County on Beach. And, he talked to me about getting a forum type meeting together here one evening, couple weeks. And they'll present on, they're pretty knowledgeable on the bridges. They have a lot of volunteers that are coming in, kind of at a standstill with that right now because of FEMA. Waivers, I know, are being worked on heavily. Sandy and I met with Congressman Edwards last Friday and, feel like that between him and Mr. Green, that we're gonna move forward fairly quickly.
Who's Mr. Green?
Representative Dudley Green.
Dudley participated in the same meeting I had with FEMA and the county commissioners and I'm just gonna openly disagree. I'd like to participate because I am currently in a fight. Sandy participated with me where I shoot out FEMA right here in this office because of these waivers and the 300 bridges that we have to have.
We're moving. It's gonna be very informative for anyone that's watching on YouTube or anyone here that would like to kind of spread the word. You know, as soon as we get a date and a time, we will post it on Facebook, website. We can post it out here on the front door, on the marquee. That I feel really confident that we're moving.
Private bridges.
Yeah, private roads, private bridges, culverts, they had gotten several done before they were stopped because of the no-rise issue, but I think we're gonna get that straightened out and hopefully move forward. I think they have a list right now of 70 around here in Watauga County, this volunteer group. They're gonna be working on as soon as they get the waivers to start.
It's good though.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, let me know.
I will.
Participate.
Yeah, it'll be here, and they have, PowerPoints, they have, you know, they'll need a wall to display their PowerPoints and stuff on, so it'll be very informative.
Yeah, cause I think the meeting I was at, there's 300 bridges the state's giving the county on and trying to hold money on us because of what participation. I can call that guy back at the state, cuss him out. Anybody else have anything else to say?
I have a question. What is the office that you said someone moved into recently?
Chief Cares?
Chief Cares?
Yeah, Chief Cares Incorporated. That's Eric Church's nonprofit organization.
Okay.
It's going to be building homes in Avery County.
Okay, I just didn't know what.
Helene disaster victims,
They'll be placing
personnel,
several lives.
individuals.
Okay. No more than 4 per acre, though.
No more than 4 per acre, correct.
That isn't in town though, is it?
It's not, it's Avery County.
How many can you put in Avery County?
I don't know that, I have no idea.
As many as you want?
I don't know the county ordinances.
I always appreciate going up to Gail's house, not to see Gail, but just up to Gail's area. Let me clarify that, Miss Gail, before rampant rumors. And seeing the trailer with the refrigerator on the front porch.
I wanna know who owns that.
I don't know, but that is the most janky,
Kenny, will you ask Mike Nelson?
it's not Mike, it's his,
Originally, it was Steve Nelson.
right.
And he put that road in there for that stop. So, I just assumed that maybe Mike had taken that.
No, it's his Mike's widowed sister-in-law.
But I think they sold it, didn't
People are dead a long time, because you never see them.
It's the first one you cut down the road.
It's right there, as
It's
soon
right
as you
there,
turn,
as
it's
you
right
come
there.
up.
You
cannot miss
And
it.
then
Start
start
at
driving.
Mohawk
That-
Street, it's right
That
there.
lot is owned by land south of Charleston.
Yeah, we still covered, the old lady passed away. Remember that driveway you still covered? Yeah, right there, yeah.
No, brother,
That's the one that Josh Alford
this is not on that pavement, it's, you dip off where Steve, but he cut in and put in that.
Put that road.
Oh, okay, damn, okay.
He's got a little small camper with a nice little front porch and a really nice Frigidaire black.
Before that, there was a pop-up on that farm.
There's 3 men that live there. And used to, there was nothing there.
Well, but remember the pop-up was there first.
No, they're there all the time, and we had some calls, Chief, didn't we, when Byron was still here, about they were making a lot of racket, and one of them there was kind of a little bit on the nutty side.
Yeah, it seems like I remember.
One of them worked down at Banner's Cabinets for a while, but one of them worked at Banner's Cabinet. But I don't think they're working now. I don't
They
know.
ride the roads, I see them riding the road, I just,
Oh, do
yeah,
you?
I see.
Girls got a basement to rent, not.
No, I don't be tenants, thank you.
Okay, now can I get a motion to go to closed session for a personnel matter?
I'll make a motion, we go to closed
I
session.
have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
You gotta go out now.
Jessica,
I hate to say it.
I just hit that X.
I said, quit while you guys are